Greetings, everyone. Aziz Muhammad here. Just wanted to share a video that I recorded 4 years ago. It's a very short video, but some great information in here. And it's a book that I reference here, and I want you to definitely go into the description of this video and get that book. The book that I'm talking about is this book here, The Power of Self-Discipline by Brian Tracy. But listen to this short video and then definitely get that book. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Greetings, everyone, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you're watching this on. I just want to say greetings and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Aziz Muhammad. This is going to be our first video in this forum or on this particular platform. And basically, if you watch the introduction, you kind of get an idea where I'm going with this. But we're going to talk about just life in general. We're going to talk about some success principles, some laws, different things like that. And the foundation of this thing is dealing with faith, vision, and self-discipline. And the reason I chose those is because they are very key and very vital, not only in business but in life. Faith, discipline, and self-discipline and vision. So vision is so important, that the Bible goes on to say that where there's no vision, the people perish. So how deep is that? Just the lack of having something is going to cause you to perish. So that's a big deal in my book. So just want to get started. We're going to start this off. I'm reading this book now. Actually, it's by Brian Tracy. The title of the book is The Power of Self-Discipline. And then you see here it says no excuses. So, this book, I recently started reading it, and it couldn't have come at a better time because, I was dealing with some things in my life currently, and this book has really been an eye opener. And I'm still just on the first chapter. I was gonna start these videos a little later in the week, but if you can remember, I said that I wanted us to grow together. So I figured why not now? Because all the great information that I'm getting from this book, I might as well be sharing it as I go. So I just wanted to read something here. When it comes to self-discipline, and remember, out of all the laws, self-discipline, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, and I don't know a whole lot, but I would venture to say that self-discipline is the most important, because if you don't have self-discipline, then all the other things, all the other laws are not going to work, because you're just not going to be disciplined enough to apply them anyway. So I think we need to start with self-discipline. And the definition here in this particular book, it says self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. And that's deep. Doing what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. And a lot of times we won't do things if we don't feel like doing it. And that's just an indication that you don't have a lot of self-discipline, because there's certain things in life you got to do it anyway. You have to do it whether you feel like it or not. I remember as a young man growing up, my grandma used to and my mom used to want me to go to church. At one period in my life, it was my grandmother. At another stage, it was my mom. But I can always remember I never felt like going, right? Never wanted to go, ever, but always was glad that I went once I got there. So, that's just part of the self-discipline. It's like making yourself do what you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna jump right in. I really want to focus on some of the paragraphs and things in this book on this forum, because it's a really good book. And you know what? I probably will spend the next several videos dealing with information out of this book. So if you don't have it, I recommend getting this book by Brian Tracy. the power of self-discipline, and it's going to make a big difference in your life. And if you're an entrepreneur like myself and you're running a business, it's definitely going to make a big difference in your business. So let's look at a couple things here. Self-discipline has a direct correlation to self-esteem. If you have no self-discipline, you probably have low self-esteem. And let me read a couple things here. It says that there is a direct relationship between self-discipline and self-esteem. The more you practice self-mastery and self-control, the more you like and value yourself. The more you discipline yourself, the greater is your sense of self-respect and personal pride. The more you practice self-discipline, the better your self-image. You see yourself and think about yourself in a more positive way. You feel happier and more powerful as a person, okay? The development and maintenance of the habit of self-discipline are a lifelong task, an ongoing battle. It never ends. The temptation to follow the path of least resistance and the expediency factor lurk continually in the back of your mind. They are always waiting for an opportunity to pounce, to lead you astray into doing what is fun, easy, and unimportant rather than what is hard, necessary, and life enhancing. So self-discipline and self-esteem has a direct correlation. So, it's always easier to take the path of least resistance when that's typically not the way you want to go. Okay, it typically causes problems in your life when you take the path of least resistance. So you may get short-term gratification, but it's always going to be long-term pain. So we want to just make sure we focus on being self-disciplined and doing what it is we're supposed to do. I'm so excited about this book. I can read on and on. There's so many different things in here that I want to share with you. One of the foundations, I talked about is vision and having vision. So, it's definitely something that I want to read from this book in regards to that. It says the most successful people are long-term thinkers. They look into the future as far as they can to determine the kind of people they want to become and the goals they want to achieve. Then they come back to the present and determine the things that they will have to do or not do to achieve their desired futures. So that's deep right there. They look into the future, determine who they want to be. Okay, they can see themselves, they got vision, they can imagine the person they want to be. They can imagine what their business look like. They can imagine their family life. They can imagine the type of physical body and physical appearance they want to have. They can look into the future, imagine these things, right? I'm sure they write them down, and then they come back to the present and figure out what activity, what they need to do in order to get themselves from where they are to that place that they want to be in the future, that vision, okay? So that is, that really can end the video because that's deep right there. Most people never take any time to look into the future. They don't have any vision. Okay, and going back to the scripture again, where there's no vision, the people perish because you can't see yourself past today. Okay, you can't see yourself past tomorrow. Okay, you're stuck in the present, and guess what? There's really no past. Past really doesn't exist. It's gone. It only exists in your mind, right? The present is ever fleeting. It's fleeting, okay? Because you know what? I just said something a second ago. It was in the present when I said it, but it's in the past right now. It's always in the past because time is always moving. So the only thing that really exists is the future, right? So whatever you see yourself as, you're always moving towards that. Actually, you're that now. Okay, you're that now. However you see yourself, you're that now. It's just a matter of catching up with that vision. Okay, but you got to do some activity. There's some things you have to do in order to get to that place to manifest that. Otherwise, you'll stay stuck in the present or the past. So that, I mean, that alone is deep. There's a couple more things I wanted to read, and this video is being recorded. You know, at some point we'll start doing these things live so that you can comment. But once you see this, please comment. Give me some feedback, because I wanna use that feedback in order to come up with topics for the next video. But this stuff is deep, man. If you don't have this book, I recommend you go get it. I'm just gonna read a couple things out of here. So short-term gain can cause long-term pain. Okay, there are two laws that you fall victim to when you fail to practice self-discipline. The first is called the law of unintended consequence. This law states that the unintended consequences of an action can be far worse than the intended consequences of that behavior because of the lack of long-term thinking. Okay, the second is the law of perverse consequences, which says that a short-term action aimed at immediate gratification can lead to perverse or the opposite consequences from those of at which it was aimed, from those at which it was aimed. For example, you might make an investment of time, money, or emotion, which is the desire and intent to be better off and happier as a result. But because of that act, without careful thinking or doing your homework, the consequences of your behavior turned out to be far worse than if you had done nothing at all. The consequence of your behavior turns out to be far worse than if you had done nothing at all. So that was a lot. Let me just kind of put it into perspective, because that was a lot to follow. But let me give you an example like this. Let's say I get paid on Friday and I got $500. And I got bills that are due right now, $800 worth of bills, right? Now I'm $300 short. Now, I can take $200, go down to the blackjack table or to the sweepstakes or to the fish bowls or whatever they call them things. I don't gamble, so y'all know what I'm talking about. And attempt to win some money to make up the difference and end up losing $200, right? Now I'm down 200, so I got to try to spend some more money to make up for what I just lost and end up losing another 200. Now I started out with 5, lost $400, I'm down to 1. Okay, and I still got $800 worth of bills to pay. So for that short-term action, that short-term gain that I thought potential gain that I perceived gain, okay, I ended up losing, and now I'm worse off than I would have been had I done nothing. Okay, at least I had the 500. Okay, I could pay what I can pay and call and make some arrangements and some promises to pay or do something on the rest. I mean, the next payday is coming, but no, I had to jump out there and try my luck. Okay, and we know that's never going to work out in your favor. So we have to be careful with doing things. That's just one scenario. I can give you scenarios from a business perspective, personal perspective. It doesn't matter. You just have to be careful of short-term gain, because it can cause, or trying to have this short-term gain, because it can cause long-term pain. You know, I got a couple more things I want to read. We're going to keep this to about 20 minutes. We're not going to make these long videos, but it's, you know, a couple things I want to read before we close this thing out. Another definition of self-discipline is self-mastery. Success is possible only when you can master your own emotions, appetites, and inclinations. Only when you can master your own emotions, appetites, and inclinations. So you got to master your emotions, okay? You gotta master, you gotta rise above emotions to the thing. You know, I read a book one time and it says people gotta learn how to rise above emotions to the thinking of God. You gotta master your emotions, and you have to master your appetites. Okay, that's why people, fast sometimes, because it works on self-discipline. It helps you master your appetite. Fasting helps you master your lower nature. Sex is an appetite, right? So you got to learn how to master all forms of appetite. If you've had a problem in the past with cheating and different things like that, messing up in your relationship, that's an appetite that you need to master, and it shows that you have a lack of self-discipline. And I'm not talking about anybody. I've been there, done that, okay? But you got to master these things, because guess what? If we don't master these things, if we don't start to show some self-discipline, then we're going to keep repeating these things over and over in life. It's going to be like a never-ending cycle, and you're going to keep finding yourself in the same position over and over again, sort of like Groundhog's Day, right? You just can't get out of that cycle. And the thing about these cycles that we find ourselves in, we typically pass these down to our children. Like, these are like generational type things. So you got to break it. You got to get some self-discipline, and break that cycle for your future generations. My motto going forward, and I said it in the introduction video: if you don't evolve, you will repeat. You got to evolve. You got to learn the lessons. You got to get the discipline, or you're going to keep repeating these things over and over again in life. And you're gonna have a lot of disappointments, a lot of regrets, a lot of heartaches. You're gonna hurt a lot of people, and you're gonna hurt yourself. So, just focus on being disciplined, right? And doing what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it, even when we don't feel like, hey, y'all, get this book, man. This book is really helping me. I'm loving this book right now. I'm loving this book. It's so many things. Let me see if we just at 16 minutes. I want to stop at 20 minutes, but let me see if there's something else I can read. I mean, you got to get this. It is not the material things you accomplish or acquire that matters so much as it is the quality of the person you must become to accomplish well above the average. It's the person you got to become to accomplish those things. It's not about the material. It's about who you become, right? This book is so deep, y'all. I recommend everyone getting it. We're talking about faith, vision, and self-discipline, okay? You got to have faith. There's a scripture that says it's impossible to please God without faith. But it also says that people will perish. Where there's no vision, people will perish. In order to have faith, in order to have vision, in order to apply all the different spiritual laws and laws of life in business, you got to have self-discipline. So read, y'all. It's fundamental. It's fundamental. I'm really starting to read a lot. I'm really starting to enjoy it. You know what? One of the first things you can do to see how much self-discipline you got is read. If you don't even have discipline enough to read, then that should be telling you something, right?
Right.
So evolve or repeat. I can't wait till the next video. I can't wait to continue to reading this book, see what other nuggets I'm gonna get. I can't wait to share them with you all. I'm super excited. It's been great. Leave me some comments. Let's talk a little bit. Hey, I thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Can't wait to the next video. Evolve or repeat. It's up to you. It's up to you.
Hey, I really enjoyed, I typically don't enjoy like watching myself talk or listening to my own videos. And like I said, this was about 4 years ago. I really enjoyed listening to that one. So again, get the book. That's why I wanted to to replay that for you all, get the book. Enough said. I see y'all on the next video. Hope y'all are having a super fantastic day. See Aziz out. Peace.